Welcome to Innovating Music, a podcast from the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music and the UCLA Center for Music Innovation. I'm your host, Dr. Gigi Johnson. This is a different podcast. This is an interview with David Hernandez at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas in March 2017. And we spent a lot of time talking about love and technology. I should maybe phrase it passion, hard work, love, and technology. He takes existing tools, using them powerfully with data to help smaller artists, and especially in Latin genres, find their community, their connection, expand their time spent listening, and really help them grow their audiences and community. Enjoy this session.
I'll be a little philosophical, and then I'll explain more in like industry terms. So what we do is we're encapsulating like human memory, human creation, and we're storing it and administering it for future generations to enjoy. You know, in a way that the creator can enjoy the financial benefits of it.
Time travel with payoff.
Yeah. So that's how I see what we do. Right at the current time, we're an aggregator. So we aggregate content to digital services such as Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and we also have a network on YouTube on which we handle YouTube celebrities, artists, record labels. We also work with songwriters, publishers, and we administer their rights. We monetize them and make money for them.
For all genres, some genres?
All genres. So I started, I started with the Latin genre because that's what I knew. You know, I'm proudly from Jalisco, Mexico. So that's what I knew. I grew up playing music. I played the drums as well. Everybody in my family, we're all musicians, and my sisters are actresses, and my dad is an incredible musician.
And your kids too? My
kids love my daughter. You know, at the time she's 6 years old, but she's like wants to be a superstar. You know, like all little kids.
See what you're doing to your own children. But you started out then in Latin music, which oftentimes doesn't get discussed on some of the things happening, which you and I've been talking about a bit. And then have gone to broader genres. Yeah.
So now we're starting to get into like country, hip hop, R&B, Americana. K-pop, and we're starting to expand.
K-pop,
yes,
wow.
K-pop.
Okay.
It's really interesting, you know. I just got back from Korea, and the scene there, it's really cool. It's really interesting. You know, it's going on culturally, socioeconomically. It's really inspiring, and it's very, very cool.
So you are a digital distribution house overall then that's providing services as well as distribution?
Yes, and we advise people on like best practices for marketing, rights management, how to protect their content we're not attorneys, but we guide them like who they can speak with. And then we maximize their content and really push it so it can get more traffic, they can monetize better and generate revenue. You know.
So you're on YouTube, you're a multi-channel network. You have many channels then?
Yes.
How many different channels do you guys have?
At the very moment, we generate over 2 billion minutes a month.
Wow.
Yes, at the moment in one of our networks.
Okay.
You know, aggregated, it's many million views a month.
And then how have you kind of grown into this space?
First of all, love and passion. You know, I really love what I do. I love helping. I think what's really led me to grow even more, it's the fact that we come with a small record label or a small artist, and their content is out there. However, it's growing. People are listening to it. People are purchasing it. But we can come in, create strategies, and really grow it. And it's really neat to see, like, year to year, the growth in traffic and views. I mean, minutes watched, shares, and ultimately revenue. So this artistic people can keep creating their art. In many ways, we bypass like what a label would do. Like we help them keep the rights. And
so you aren't being the label for them. You're being the distributor for independent artists with their own essential labels.
Yes, and also to independent record labels. Mm-hmm. So we're really helping them to maximize their content. Yeah, it's really, really, it's very rewarding. It's incredibly rewarding.
So year over year, what type of trends are you seeing?
I really see a really big push. Of course, everybody's pushing for VR.
Mm-hmm. Or especially here at South by Southwest, that there's VR in about every fifth panel, it seems.
Exactly. However, in Latin America, I'm really positive and really hopeful of the adoption of VR. Because of the certain things. I haven't really seen it, and as 2017, I haven't really seen it really take off. People think it's really cool, but people are still stuck on the regular video, which is okay.
The flatties, as people
The
have been
flatties.
calling it. The flatties.
Yeah, they're still in the flatties. A huge trend I do see, some people are kind of falling off because of this new marketing. I kind of feel it might be getting a little saturated in the distribution channels.
I mean, for video and music overall.
For video and music, yeah. So that's when one needs to be creative and push the content so it could be discovered. So a trend I feel, at least for us, in practice, not in theory, but in practice, is a big push towards the content discovery. The main way to do that is by really creating and really feeding our own audiences and helping our clients, helping the content creators build their audiences and just feed them.
What does that mean?
You could say digital fans.
Okay.
Digital fans.
Or fan armies, as people have been referring to them.
Fan armies. So I'm sure, a lot of people have spoken about this, but I think curation is going to become more and more important, and being extremely creative with all of this.
Sort of the equivalent of binge viewing on Netflix, but having in-depth binge listening in community.
Yes, and really using data to understand this community. That's another big thing that we're focusing on in mining all this data, really understanding who's watching, who's listening to us, how long they're there for, really trying to understand their listening patterns and the people that look alike.
So how do you do that? What tools do you use with your artists other than the traditional air quotes, dashboards that you would get for YouTube?
Something very basic, and anybody could do is do lead generation. Start capturing emails, phone numbers if you can. There's some really cool lead generation things on Facebook right now where you can get all of the person's information and you can just keep it and store it and.
Through Facebook?
Yeah, you can do it through Facebook. It's really, and that's another part. Well, that's another thing that we're moving really heavily into. Really aggregating all these Facebook followers that we currently have access to, getting all that data, and really understanding it, creating lookalike audiences, and marketing our clients' content.
You said lookalike audiences?
Yeah. So, there's several ways to describe it. The best way I could describe it is just how it sounds. People that look like, and we just market to that.
This podcast is generally about innovation in music. Oftentimes we'll have technology companies or someone who's doing some cool tech tool. It sounds like the innovation that you do is bringing current tools to smaller artists to help empower them to be innovative in their own spaces.
Yes, and really guiding them to using them. In our case, though, it is us doing a lot of the work because some of these artists or label or rights holders, they really just don't know how to use like even a computer because of the demographic that we're working with, mainly, which is the Latin demographic. So we're really helping them, empowering them. We're really giving them a very customized service to really help them grow. And it's really cool to see them grow and also see them grow in this all translates. If they have an active artist and not just catalogs, it all translates into live performances.
And it does, though. As a part of it is there tends to be the comment, well, with streaming, we'll make it up in volume, we'll make it up in live performance. You're saying that it is showing up. It
is showing up. Yes, it is showing up. And especially because now we can target in a very good way where most of these listeners are. We tell our clients, hey, this is where you have the most traffic. This is where people are listening to you the most. And they go and target those places, and they're able to book dates at a little bit of a higher cost.
Oftentimes we'll take a look at what is creating innovation in music. You're kind of seeing innovation coming from your many Latin artists, from them realizing that they need. What's sort of driving the innovation that your clients and the artists that you work with are stepping into?
I really believe there is a lot of innovation that could be done. However, this innovation could be done better if you get the basics right.
Mm-hmm.
Starting from just the very basic metadata of the content and building on that. Once you have all this information and all this aggregated content, if you have an innovative platform to use it on, it's much more powerful.
So how does an artist end up coming to you, or vice versa, you coming to an artist saying it's time to start working together? Given all the changes going on, what's the trigger for someone saying, I'm ready to take this next step?
They don't know they're ready. In our case, they don't know they're ready.
Okay.
Because we actually go to them and show them, this is what we recommend you should do. This is your content as it stands. This is what we see. Because we go in and check out their existing content and see if there's room to help them out. And if there is, we approach them, or by word of mouth. Other people are very happy with the results, so they send referrals to us. Because we really don't do a lot of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're actually very selective of who we work with.
Mm-hmm.
We do work with some independent artists. However, we want to work with people that want to keep creating content constantly. That's the best way to help them and really help them grow. We work with whoever wants to work and wants to succeed and wants to get ahead.
How do you decide what technologies to bring into the fold that you work with clients around?
Well, we already have a set of technologies that we use internally,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we use. So we have our own platform in which we ingest the content. Then we distribute it into the different music services, and we also work very closely with YouTube, and we're developing our own platform on which we're monetizing Facebook and promoting Facebook fan pages as well. Innovation comes from putting all this together and making them work together and being creative with the content they have to work with all these technologies. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's already so many good things to work on. And we are just trying to stay up to speed by always looking around, seeing where things are headed. And right now, the biggest innovation, I guess you could say, is protecting those rights that these creators have created, protecting the rights, and being on top of our game to seeing what's next, what other platform or where are people consuming this content, so we can be there as soon as possible, distribute our content, and generate revenue and for our clients and help them grow into different areas that otherwise they were not going to grow.
So one thing that we've heard some commentary on is that it's sort of a 1%er's business, that about 1% of artists are doing well, or it depends on how you measure it, et cetera. When we were talking before we started recording, you were commenting that pretty much all your artists are doing fairly well in a digital world. Can you comment on that?
Yes. So all of our clients, we work with small, medium, and large catalogs,
Mm-hmm.
content.
Mm-hmm.
The record I guess you could say the record labels or content owners,
Mm-hmm.
they're doing very well with us.
Mm-hmm.
The revenue everybody's making, it's in my opinion, it's incredible. It's fantastic, especially looking at where we started or where they were in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
To now, it's very rewarding to see that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the independent artists that we do work with, the revenue they're generating, compared to what they were making at a major label, which in some cases was nothing,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. But again, the major label, you have to look at expenses the label had, so they have to discount it or advances or things like that. So you have to put it in perspective as well. However, they're very happy because now some of these artists, for the first time in their careers, are actually seeing revenue come back from their content.
And being able to take that data
Yeah.
and then pursue that in live performance.
Yes, and use it.
Mm-hmm.
And, we see some extremely clever artists that we're working with and companies. They're going back to data. They're using it to their benefit on Facebook and Instagram and just growing those audiences extremely fast.
And audiences that can activate not just numbers.
Exactly. They actually represent watch time, traffic, and there's not in 2017 there is still some sales.
Mm-hmm.
So they're actually selling content, like on iTunes, on Amazon, on Google Play.
Yeah,
the
lands of still downloads.
Yeah, people are still downloading, and it's really cool to see that. And especially with the marketing these people are doing, like, you do have sales. It's incredible.
Are there any case studies or examples you'd be comfortable sharing?
Yeah, so there's there's this company that we're working with, and they're very admirable people. They're very clever young guys that we're working together with. They have this young singer from Mexico. She's extremely talented. From Christmas of 2016 till recently, they've grown her audience. I believe now about 1 million people on
Wow.
Facebook, from like 20,000 to 1 million. We're close to 1 million today, and on YouTube, it's insane the growth that she's had.
And what's the artist name?
Her name is Carolina Ross.
Okay.
Yeah, and these guys are just incredible group of guys. Many of the artists that we work with, they've already had some sort of career, or the labels have had some sort of career prior to working with us. In this particular case, it's a very good relationship that we have with these incredible guys that work with her, and we're creating a very good working atmosphere. And she has really grown dramatically, and also in YouTube, it's just millions of views a month now.
Wow.
Versus a couple thousand a day. It's just millions. It's incredible.
And a lot of that's working on the numbers in the system and the data to be able to then connect up more content to similar type fans.
Yes. I bring her up, and we're talking about innovation. But I would like to point out that in order to have innovation, you really need to work hard. You cannot just sit on your butt all day waiting for innovation to come and solve all your problems and do the work for you. You can't. Innovation or no innovation, you have to really put in the work. Nobody's going to do it for you. And our clients know that. That's going back to where I was telling you that we're selective with our clients. We want to work with people who want to work. Because if they don't do their part, our part is, it will work. However, they need to keep coming up with content. We need to keep feeding the machine, because people's attention span is so short that we need to keep being on them, on their feed, being discoverable as much as possible, because they like you now and they'll forget in 2 minutes that you exist. So one has to really, really work. In artists today, I don't think, unless you're a major artist and have these crazy budgets behind you for promotion, and it's an incredibly good song that just everybody loves as soon as they hear it. And even so, if you don't have these big budgets and you have an amazing song, if you don't have that discovery and it's like in front of you at all times, you're going to forget about it, even if it's a great song. You know, the innovation, I believe, comes from love, passion, and hard work. And if you don't have those, you can have a robot come in and do everything for you. However, if you don't have content to feed that robot or that AI software or whatever you call it in your, today, next year, or 10 years from now, hard work just beats anything, regardless of the technology that we have.
So where, in addition to hard work, where do you see changes needing to come up the pike, or things that are kind of on your wish list to come in to help you work with the wonderful brands of music that you work with?
At least in our case right now, I know that's changing because we're branching out to different genres and it's culturally different. I would love for the brands that we work with to come in and understand our culture, the Latin culture, a bit more or a lot more, and see the potential that there really is. Because a proof of it, it's here, South by. People, you have this Latin music, one little small venue here, another small venue there, and it's really not so big. And not to diminish anybody, but the Latin acts they bring here, it's mainly pop, alternative, some form of reggae. It's great music. These are great artists. In reality, though, what brands and companies are not paying attention to is that the reality of America, the majority of Hispanics are listening to regional Mexican, to banda, corridos, ranchera. And, you come to these events and you don't see any push for that.
Now, that's this event, though, but there are events that do highlight, showcase, celebrate, connect.
Yes, and even so, those acts are they're either more mainstream or more on the pop side. I have yet to see a true regional push and presence and understanding, a true regional Mexican. I mean, it's called regional Mexican, and that encompasses the whole genre. But in reality, the main genre that's most listened to is música norteña, norteño music. You know, there's really not a genuine push, maybe not an interest, or maybe there's just a disconnect on that. So
is that an opportunity to fill that gap somehow?
that is a huge opportunity, and it's really exciting, and that's what I am pushing for with tons of passion and commitment to our clients. Yeah.
Cool. And folks listening to this won't see the expression on his face, which totally matches that sense of passion with this topic.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is also getting to the brands to engage and by advertising and other things around these artists.
Yes.
How's that working with the data and trying to communicate with folks who may not be connecting at major events to different genres of Latin music?
That's where the data comes in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where the data comes in. We show the retention, we show the time spent on a certain piece of content, and you know, I do see some brands beginning to pay attention and see, like, whoa, you know, we're targeting this Hispanic millennial, but we're targeting them as they are maybe second, third generation. I'm 1.5 generation.
Okay.
So I'm a 1.5. I'm a first generation here in the United States, but I'm considered 1.5 because I came here at the age of 9, you know, and I won the lottery when I came here, by the way, to this country. There's a really cool saying in one of Wyclef's songs. I forget the name of the song, but he says, "I won the lottery when my parents brought me to America." And that just stuck to. I love Wyclef, by the way. He's an incredible artist. His message, I connect a lot with it. You know, it's really cool. He's an incredible artist. I'm a 1.5er because I came to the country young enough to acculturate myself with the American culture.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm in these two worlds that I'm still very bonded to my Mexican roots, and I'm very proud of that. But I'm also acculturated with the American way of life. And the advertisers and marketers, though, I really don't know how to explain it, but they're targeting the first 1.5, second and third generations.
The same. In
the same, and in a way that doesn't really appeal. That might appeal more to a Miami East Coast Latino in New York City or in Miami versus the rest of the country. Or it'll appeal more to an upper class Hispanic in LA. That's just the truth of the matter. And they need to realize that there's, you know, you got to look at the socioeconomic, the roots, and really speak the language of us, you know, like. And I don't really feel that there's much understanding of that yet. A good case study of that was a few years ago, Cricket. Cricket did an amazing job.
The mobile phone.
The mobile phone company, yeah. Before they got bought out by AT&T, they also had a service called Move Music. We were just talking about that yesterday with some incredible folks from Warner and other companies. We were having a really good conversation about it. And, you know, me growing up and seeing how Cricket marketed to the community, they knew the language, they knew the needs, they knew that, for instance, in California, my family members, you know, some of them didn't have a driver's license or were undocumented. So you couldn't really get a credit check to get a phone. So Cricket spoke the language. Come with us with your consular card and you will get a phone. Plus, you will get free music.
Yeah, they were some of the early folks, or for that time period, providing music as part of the package, understanding it was part of the sale and part of the community around the phone.
Yes, and all of us, all of the aggregators I speak with, and even our numbers through Move Music were incredible as far as music goes, as far as revenue goes. So, and as far as devices, you know, they really it was just incredible. They really understood, the marketing team at Cricket really, really understood the demographic. And I really think AT&T did a big mistake by not following up to that, because they had this giant, super, extremely loyal fan consumer base that they they totally obliterated. They just destroyed them. So I haven't really seen that type of marketing yet, and I am hopefully we at Colonize can help the branding that we're starting to do, and the product placements and the positioning and the inventory sales. I hope we can help them understand this demographic better.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be much more powerful to the advertiser. Their ROI will be better, and you'll have a loyal customer for an extremely long time.
So we've been talking a lot about what you guys are doing. Are there maybe one or two other companies or organizations that you think are heading in powerful ways that you admire?
The inspiration for Colonize is from Elon Musk, because of colonizing Mars.
Yeah.
So we're like,
I thought it was more of a commentary on colonization somehow.
Oh, yeah, no, it's more of like colonizing a new space where new frontiers, new ideas, new things. That's where it comes from. So I'm sitting there in front of one of my partners, or my partner, I'm sitting there, we're talking about a name, and we're just thinking, and we're also like the legalities of the trademark and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how about colonize? He's like, colonize? That's really cool. I'm like, yeah, because we're colonizing a new space. It's a new frontier. It's a new thing. And, I was just thinking of Elon Musk at the moment because of Mars and all those things happening, So that's really exciting to me, what's going on, I really believe in the next 5 years, we're in 2017 now, and in the next 5 years, we're going to see some incredible technological advances, just incredibly insane in the bio science, like just in health and currency. I really believe some places in the world are going to bypass a lot of the technology we know, and they're going to be ahead in some ways. And you see that happening already with the way people use digital currency in different places to barter. Pretty much in some places they barter like data for a product or food. It's really interesting. And another person I've been following for a very long time, since before he was so well known, was Gary Vaynerchuk. Everybody knows him now.
Not everybody. So who is he for people who don't know who he is?
Gary Vaynerchuk is a
amazing person.
He's an incredible it goes back to what I was talking about, innovation, about working hard. You can have all these technologies, but if you don't sit down and really work, nothing is going to happen. I really believe that. And he speaks to that he drops the F-bombs all the time, but he does it because of passion. And I agree with him. Like, you really gotta work, it's like, I believe like having innovation, it's like having talents. But if you don't work out these talents, innovation isn't going to come and save you or grow you, It helps a lot. However, you got to work hard and have like a long-term dream and goals and passion to get these technologies and innovation to work.
So we've had a great conversation, taking a look at pieces of the puzzle of what you've built for Colonize, some very strong opinions on passion, which comes across in what you're doing and saying. Any last words, anything that we should wrap up with that you want to make sure we talk about?
Yes. Love yourself. Out of love comes everything else. If we really love ourselves, we can love others. And if we love what we're doing, it just explodes. It's like you don't even feel it's a job or you're working. It's just who you are and what you do. Just love yourself, love everybody around you.
Well, and love in technology, right? So you actually, working with the artists that you work with, that you're able to actually capture their love and community together, which is a pretty powerful combination. Yeah, well, we're human at the end of the day. We're human beings using these technologies. And love is what moves us. And I believe that bypasses any technology or innovation because we are human. And if we care about other human beings and human things and human creation, and if we look at it as art and we just love it and admire it, it just will grow in many ways, So a powerful thought. Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you. Well, that wraps up this podcast. Many thanks to the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music and the UCLA Center for Music Innovation for being our hosts of this ongoing series. You can subscribe to us in all the usual places, or you can come find us at innovation.schoolofmusic.ucla.edu. Join us again to follow the other adventures that we will be tracking down in innovating music. Thanks again.